My name is Eric, I am the creator of the board game Blockminers that I have been working on for 7 years. I have hosted and attended several playtesting sessions. I also give and receive a lot of feedback in my work. If you are going to attend a playtest or host a playtest, this video is for you. I want to give you 3 tips for how to better give feedback during a playtesting session and 3 tips for how to better receive feedback during a playtest. Let's start with giving feedback. All professional playtesters I have come in contact with never give any feedback for the first maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And if it's a short game, they don't give any feedback until they have finished the game. This is both so that the one hosting the playtest, which might be doing it for the first time and be very nervous, has the time to go through and explain everything so that the one about to give feedback can get the full picture. And it's also not to break the flow of the game. Playing a game, you're after an emotion. You have to live in the game to see if you experience the emotions or not. The second thing is that they always bring some way to take notes, preferably pen and paper. When you bring pen and paper, it's obvious you're taking notes for the game. If you're bringing out your phone, it might seem like you're distracted or don't care about the game. So if you don't have pen and paper and have to use your phone, make it clear you're taking notes for the game and then put down the phone and keep playing. The third thing to do when giving feedback is to be specific. This is also where notes help. The best type of feedback says something specific and gives a practical example when it happened. For example, I did not like that it took a long time for me to take my turn because I could never figure out whether I was allowed to place a marker or not. That is very specific feedback. That makes it more actionable. It's also less prone to make people upset. Feedback which is very generic, for example, I thought this game was boring. You can't do much with that type of feedback and it's easy to make someone upset by giving that type of feedback. The more specific you are, with the more practical examples you can give, the more likely it is that the outcome will be constructive and well received. And now for receiving feedback, I have 3 tips. First one actually starts before the session. It's important that you make it clear what you want to get feedback on. You can do that by saying, you can also make it clear in the game. Let's say, for example, that the board art you made looks great, but you don't have any art for the back of the cards. It's black and white scribbles, obviously placeholder. You feel like the playtest is going to be ruined if there is just black and white scribbles on the back of the cards, so you rush something out which is obviously not your best, but it's at least better than the black and white scribbles. This is actually a bad idea. When playtesters show up and they see that the back of the cards are black and white scribbles, they will think, that's obviously placeholder, I don't have to give any feedback on that. If it is instead this rushed out thing that you did, they will give feedback on it. Make sure that it's either clearly placeholder or your best attempt. Anything in between will be interpreted as your best attempt and you will get feedback on it, which can be frustrating when you know it's not your best attempt. Therefore, it's much better to make things obviously placeholder or your best attempt. The second tip for receiving feedback is that you don't have to implement literally what people are saying to you. People will not tell you what the problem is, they will tell you what they think the solution to the problem is. They can say, for example, it would be better if we only placed one marker at a time. It's better if we only placed markers during one phase. It's better that only one player gets to place markers at a time. Most likely, you don't want to implement all of these, but you can hear that markers seem to make the players confused in this fictional game. And then your job as a game designer is to figure out what the solution actually is. It could be what the playtesters are saying, but it could also be something completely different. And then, third one for receiving feedback, maybe the most important one. When you get feedback, say thank you and shut up. It is the natural instinct when people give you feedback on your game that you want to defend yourself. I thought the marker placement was complicated. Well, it's actually designed this way because if you don't include the... doesn't matter what you say. Essentially what's happening is that they are giving you feedback as you ask them to, and you are essentially saying you're wrong. If someone actually gives you feedback and you start defending the game, they will stop giving you feedback. It's much better to say thank you and be quiet or ask a follow-up question. Can you give an example? Are there any similar things like this in the game? Do you have any proposed solutions? And then you write down everything, and you can do it calmly because you know you don't have to implement everything they're saying, but you're there to listen to them. So, when you're giving feedback, don't give any feedback right away. Experience the game, take notes, and then when you give feedback, give it very precisely and with examples. And when you are hosting a playtest, make it clear what you want to have feedback on by making things either obviously placeholder or your best attempt. Listen to what everyone is saying. You don't have to implement it literally, and don't defend your game. Say thank you when people are giving you feedback, and smile and ask follow-up questions and write down what they are saying. That's it. I hope you found this interesting. If you have any fun stories to tell about playtests that you either hosted or attended, please write those in the comments. Those are usually very funny to talk about. I wish you a great rest of the week. Bye bye.